Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. Shilo Sanders has made a great first impression in Tampa Bay at the rookie minicamp. But what is in store for the son of Deion Sanders now that OTAs have arrived and the mandatory minicamp is on the horizon? Well, that's the subject of today's Pewter Pulse video. I'll get into that in just a minute, but first, a reminder, hit the thumbs up button on this video, give it a like, also leave a comment. I love reading your comments. And when you do those two things, it helps us defeat the overlords at YouTube and overrule the algorithm and gets our videos in front of more awesome Bucs fans like you. Also, please make sure you visit Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. We're on the way to 19,000 subscribers, thanks to you. Okay, now let's talk about one of the most talked about rookies this year in Tampa Bay. That's Shiloh Sanders. Wasn't even drafted by this team. By now, you know that Colorado safety Shiloh Sanders went undrafted. And his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who has a great relationship with the Bucs, reached out to Tampa Bay general manager Jason Licht right after the draft, needing a safety. The Bucs didn't draft one, so they signed Sanders, who did not have a draftable grade by the team, and they signed him as an undrafted free agent. Those are the facts. The Bucs did have a draftable grade on Marshall safety J.J. Roberts, who was a Pewter Report Bucs best bet at the safety position. And he also was signed as an undrafted free agent. Tampa Bay brought Roberts in for a top 30 visit prior to the draft and was thrilled to sign him. He played 3 years at Wake Forest, where he broke up 10 passes, picked off a pass, and had 3 forced fumbles due to his reputation as a hard hitter. He then transferred to Marshall 2023, where he spent 2 years totaling 167 tackles, had 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 15 pass breakups, including 14 last year. The reason I bring up Roberts is because he is competing with Sanders and a pair of practice squad safeties in Rashad Wisdom and Marcus Banks for one other roster spot behind starters Antoine Winfield Jr. and Tyke Smith and top reserves Christian Izien and Kayvon Merriweather. In some respects, Roberts might be a little ahead of Sanders in terms of the depth chart right now, but a lot can change, and it will change once training camp rolls around. Both Sanders and Roberts had a good showing at the rookie minicamp, but it was naturally Sanders who received the most media attention, given his famous father, who is not just a Hall of Famer, but also the head coach at Colorado. And Sanders deserved the praise he received because he made a great first impression in 2 different areas. First and foremost, and perhaps most importantly, he received praise from head coach Todd Bowles, who is the defensive play caller, for being loud on the football field. That's incredibly important because Bowles puts a tremendous emphasis on being able to communicate calls and audibles in the secondary, and that's the primary role of his safeties on defense pre-snap. Being loud is a prerequisite for a safety, especially in enemy stadiums where there's 80,000 screaming fans. So Sanders' volume, his outspoken nature, and his football IQ when it came to making the right calls were noted by Bowles. That's a very good early sign for the former Buffaloes defender. Sanders also made a great first impression with the media in his initial press conference in Tampa Bay. He entered the room with a big smile and called us his new media people, and then took the time to shake every reporter's hands, including yours truly, before taking questions. I've never seen that happen before in my 30 years of covering the Buccaneers by any other player. Sanders showed a great deal of humility in stating he wants to be the snack guy that brings the veterans the right snacks during the week. Sanders came across as humble and likable with the handshakes and the declaration of wanting to be the snack guy. It was part calculated and one part genuine, and reminded me a lot of Baker Mayfield's first OTA practice in Tampa Bay in 2023 after he arrived, where he made the bold move of warming up and doing calisthenics right at the start of practice with Vita Vea and the defensive players instead of the receivers, the other quarterbacks, and everybody else on offense. Because Baker Mayfield wanted to get to know everybody, not just the Buccaneers on offense. So from day one, Mayfield was laying the groundwork to be the leader of the entire Bucs team, not just his huddle on offense. That move was planned by Mayfield, but it was also executed in a very genuine way that had very genuine intentions. And I credit Shiloh Sanders for following a similar path. It's a smart move, introducing himself to the media that way. It shows great awareness, and it sets him apart from the other rookies, none of whom did what Sanders did. But Sanders isn't going to make the 53-man roster for his volume or the snacks that he brings to one Buccaneer place or shaking hands with the media. It's going to be for what he does on the football field in the preseason when the pads come on. There's no tackling in practice during training camp due to player safety. There's some thudding, but no wrapping up. And Sanders did show a penchant for throwing shoulders into running backs and tight ends and wide receivers. Sometimes the result was a big hit. I mean, he did force 4 fumbles in college. Other times, it was a devastatingly missed tackle. So that's something he needs to work on. When asked specifically about Shiloh Sanders during his press conference, Bucs safeties coach Nick Rapone decided to lump J.J. Roberts into the discussion, which was noteworthy and not necessarily a great thing for Shiloh Sanders. This is what Rapone said when he was asked about Sanders. Quote, him and JJ, the same thing. They came in, they're eager, they're learning. Hopefully we're imparting information that will help them. End of quote. That's it. Not a lot of flowery praise from Rapone just yet. Shiloh Sanders has a lot of work to do between now and September to stick in Tampa Bay. He has to improve as a tackler. He has to prove he has enough athletic ability to play in the NFL. And there are questions about that, which is why he was undrafted. In addition to learning Todd Bowles' very sophisticated defense. Now, the good news is that Shiloh Sanders has played at 3 different schools in his 6-year college career. He spent 2 seasons at South Carolina. Then he transferred to be with his dad and his brother Shiloh Sanders at Jackson State for 2 years. And then the Sanders family and Travis Hunter, they transferred to Colorado, where they played the last 2 years. So he's been around a lot of different defensive coordinators, a lot of different defensive systems. And, at 25, he's more mature and has a greater sense of awareness than his younger brother, the 23-year-old quarterback, Shiloh Sanders, does. So with Shiloh Sanders having to learn all those different multiple defenses at different schools, different stops in college, I think it's going to help him pick up Todd Bowles' system pretty quickly. Sanders' most natural position is the strong safety position, but he'll have to show the range and ability to play some free safety too, as well as excelling on special teams to make this 53-man roster or even have a shot at the practice squad. Versatility is so important in the NFL, especially if you're an undrafted free agent. The more you can do, the better. But attitude is important in the workplace. It's everything, really, at any workplace, whether it's on the football field or in your office. And Sanders has done what I hoped he would do. Come to Tampa Bay, humble and focused on football. He arrived in Tampa a few days early, before the other rookies did, to get the lay of the land in Tampa, to go to the team facility. And he already made friends with Antoine Winfield Jr., the Bucs' former All-Pro safety, who gave Sanders a crash course on what you need to learn and excel as a rookie on a Todd Bowles team. That's smart. Sanders doesn't just have the right attitude. He started off his Buccaneer career with a great attitude, and he's off to a great start so far in Tampa Bay. We'll see how far this great start will take him this summer. Well, we're off to a great start on our way to 20,000. We're almost at 19,000 subscribers, thanks to you awesome Pewter people who have subscribed to Pewter Report TV. Make sure you go there and check out my Pewter Pulse episodes, our Pewter Report podcast episodes, all the great Bucs video content you need. Remember, we have OTAs coming up, as well as the Bucs mandatory minicamp. So lots of great video content will be on our Pewter Report TV YouTube page. Make sure you follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report, and the mothership, pewterreport.com, for all the Bucs OTA and minicamp coverage, as well as everything you're going to need to know about your 2025 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'll be back soon with the new Pewter Pulse.